Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. So if you follow me on Snapchat or on Instagram story, you know that I have had a few issues with the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette, which makes me so sad and so upset because I love Jaclyn Hill. I'm a big Jaclyn Hill fan and I was so excited for the palette. So when I got it and I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to and I expected to and I wanted to, I was really disappointed. I have used it a couple of times and I'm just like, you know, like, why? Like, I want to like it so bad. When I ordered my Jaclyn Hill palette, I also ordered one for my mom and for my sister. So I gave them their palettes, I kept mine, and my sister kept telling me, she's like, maybe I just don't know how to do my makeup or something's going on, but my palette works really well. And I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, that's weird. I'm like, that's so weird. So this past weekend, we went to Tallahassee because my sister graduated from college. Yay! She graduated from FSU, so congrats to you, little Jax. So while we were there, she was like, Debbie, you need to use my Jaclyn Hill palette. I didn't even bring mine because I used it a couple times, I didn't like it, and it's gone in a drawer, and I haven't touched it again. And I don't like to talk negatively about things. Like, if I just don't talk about something, it's because it just wasn't for me, it didn't work out for me for whatever reason. I just didn't like it that much. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't like to just bash things and talk bad about them. What's the point of that? Like, if you don't like something, just don't use it. So I usually just try to talk about things that I like, and that's why I just haven't really touched the Jaclyn Hill palette. So my sister took hers on the trip to Tallahassee and she's like, you need to use my palette because I'm telling you something's wrong with your palette. Well, lo and behold, I used her palette and it worked great. It worked perfect, it worked so well, which I thought was really weird. So we're gonna do a little test today. I have both palettes here. This is my palette and this is my sister's palette. So we're gonna do one eye with my palette and one eye with her palette and we're gonna see what the situation is. So I don't know, but we're gonna do a little experiment to see what's going on and if all the palettes are equal or not. Maybe the first couple times I used it, I just had a bad experience. We don't know, we're gonna see what's happening right now. But before we jump into it, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update because I'm always updating you guys. I'm constantly updating you guys on Snapchat and Instagram story. So if you don't follow me on either one of those, you can totally follow me there. I recently tried out the new Hydro Boost Hydrating Gel Cleanser from Neutrogena, which is like part of their new hydrating line. And when I saw this, I got so excited. I was like, wow, a hydrating line from the drugstore. That's probably so nice. I'm a huge stickler for skincare. Like, I'm really into skincare and taking care of your skin. I think that great makeup starts with great skin and it's really important to take care of your skin. So I am just really into that. So I love trying out new skincare products because there's always new things coming out. And when I saw this come out, I was like, wow, a drugstore brand that's doing something hydrating, like a whole line for hydration, which I'm dry, so I love hydrating products. So I ran out and I bought it. I've been using it for about 2 weeks and I don't know if you can see on camera, but like I have little breakouts all over. Like I have a big blemish right here. My cheeks are covered in like little red bumps like on both sides, and I even have some breakouts on my forehead. I'm gonna get closer to the camera so you guys can see. Excuse my pimples, I'm so sorry. So I think you can see them a little bit better now. You see all of these like little blemishes that I have here on my face. I have one big one here. I did just wash my face like maybe 45 minutes ago and I did pick at them a little, not pick at them, but I kind of extracted some stuff out of them, you know, but I usually don't get this amount of breakout. And I think the only thing that I've changed in my skincare routine has been this. So I'm no longer using this. I stopped using it yesterday when I started realizing all of the breakouts. So if you're back and forth, you know, about trying out this line, not that you shouldn't go get it, but I'm just giving you guys my experience. It did not work that well for me, unfortunately. I wish it did, but it didn't. So if you tried this out and it worked well for you, comment below. And if you tried it out and it didn't work for you, comment below. Let me know. I'd love to hear what happened when you used this, because what happened to me when I used it was not that great. So because this video is focused on the Jaclyn Hill palette, I don't want to waste time showing my face routine and all my face makeup. I will link my foundation, my most recent foundation routine down below, just in case you guys want to check that out. I'm gonna do my face makeup and my eyebrows very quickly off of camera and I will be right back so that we can jump into our little Jaclyn Hill palette experience and see what is going on with these palettes, because like I need to know. I don't know about you guys, but like I need to know. I'm gonna use my sister's palette for my right eye and I'm gonna use my palette for my left eye. Let's start with some of the mattes in the crease and let's see what happens. Let me zoom you guys in really quick so you can see better. So now that you guys are all nice and up close and personal in my face, I like to use a matte shade all underneath of my brow bone and then just put a nice shimmery color like in the highest point right underneath of my arch. But because this palette doesn't have a matte brow bone highlight, we're just gonna skip that altogether. The first 3 times that I used my own personal palette, I did use another eyeshadow from another company to highlight my brow bone, a creamy shade like I was just saying. So it is very possible that maybe the shadows from the Jaclyn Hill palette couldn't blend well with the other formula of that other company's eyeshadow. So we're just gonna stick to just the Jaclyn Hill palette today and see what happens. So my eyes are already primed with some concealer and set with some translucent powder, as I always do, nothing new there. So we're gonna try to use as many colors as we can to really test this out today. I'm gonna go in with this eyeshadow right here, which is called MFEO. Going with the Morphe brush, and we're just gonna put this all the way through the crease, kind of like as our transition shade. So now using the other Morphe M502, I'm gonna go into my palette and do the same thing on my left eye. Okay, so right off the bat, I don't know if you can really see this on camera as up close, but this side blended really nicely and like there's no harsh edge on the brow bone. And over here, I feel like I have a harsher edge, especially like right here. I had to like really almost get into my eyebrow to blend it out because it wouldn't blend nicely in that little area. It didn't blend as easily as it did on this side. Let me try to blend out the edges a little bit more here. I mean, it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't like super noticeable. I'm just like really critiquing this right now and I'm getting like really nitpicky. So now I'm gonna switch back to my sister's palette. I'm using my little color switch duo and I'm gonna clean this brush off. And I'm gonna go into the color Creamsicle right here. And I'm just gonna lay this directly on top of the first color that we used. I love colors that are like this tone, these tones. Okay, so that went on super easy. It gave kind of like a nice little burst of sunshine to the eyes, which I like. So now, let's do the same thing with my palette. Okay, no complaints with that color. That worked really well. So far, so good with that. So next, I'm gonna go on with this color right here, which is called Pukey. And I'm gonna bring this all the way through the crease, but I'm not gonna take it as high. I'm gonna keep this color a little bit more concentrated in the crease. Switching over to my palette, we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, because I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but like this side blended so easy. I did it super quick, and this side, like right here, it's not blending as good. Like I'm really having to work it in, and I'm getting like a little bit of like build up right here. I have kind of like a chunk right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's like not really blending that good. It's like I'm having a little bit of an issue on this side. I mean, from like a normal person's perspective, it looks fine. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's blending better. So far, not too many complaints. I mean, I have noticed that it takes me a little bit longer to blend on this side than this. I feel like the colors aren't blending as easily, but maybe I just favor this eye over this eye. That could definitely be a possibility too. There's a lot of things that could be happening right now. I mean, it still looks fine, it looks good, but it's taking me a lot longer to blend on this side than on this side. Like the shadows don't seem to be blending as easily on this side. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch over to a Morphe M433. But I do have my color switch duo, so I will continue to clean this brush in between each color that I use and when I switch from palette to palette. If you're interested in these things are pretty good. I'll link one below from Amazon. I think you can get them on Amazon. If I can find a link from Amazon for one of these, I'll link it below because it's really good. So now I'm gonna jump into some of the more reddish toned colors. Right now I do more of like the sunset tones, which honestly, not too many complaints. I had a little bit of trouble with Pukey on this side, but nothing too crazy or too like insane to write home about. But the first time I used this palette, my issues really started with the more reddish colors. So let's see what's going on there. I'm gonna jump into this color right here called Hunts. Okay, so good pigment on the brush. Let's see. Okay, I'm taking this all the way through the crease. I'm just keeping it a little bit more directed in the crease. That's why I switched over to a flatter brush. Okay, so that blended in really, this is blending in really easy. Like it's going down perfect. Great pigment, blending super easy. Get off, really good. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with my palette. Okay, so you saw how easy this side blended in. On this side, just putting it down with that brush, I don't know if you can see the difference, like how patchy it is here. I'm gonna try to clean up the edges and just clean this up all together with my Morphe M502. Okay, this is helping a little bit to blend out those edges. I don't know if you can see, like it's starting to get muddy, like all of like this reddish color is getting too high and it's blending together with the other ones, while this one is like perfect. Like you see that nice definition that I got in the crease, and over here how muddy it's looking because I'm trying to blend it because it wasn't blending well. And it's patchy, like you see how I have patchy areas, I have areas where the shadow didn't really catch. I think that at this point, it's safe to say that there are definitely some inconsistencies with the palette because my sister's is working like a dream. Like it's working awesome. And mine, listen, I could definitely use this. It's not like I'm gonna, like I don't need to throw it away and it's the worst palette in the world, but it's just not working the way that my sister's is. My sister's is working so much better. You can already see the difference in definition on either side. You see how I have that nice definition on this side and this side on the outer edge, and even like in here, kind of I lost that definition. It's not as defined as here because I had to blend it out so much to get rid of the patchiness that it just didn't blend as well. So it kind of looked a little bit more muddy than this side. This side definitely looks a lot cleaner. But let's move forward. We're gonna finish the look. We're gonna finish it using the two palettes so that at the end we could really see, you know, what's going on. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch over to a Morphe M518, cleaning it off here. And this is so weird, like I'm so disappointed with this. This has never happened to me before. Like I've never gotten like a bad batch of like an eyeshadow, what's it called, palette, or like any makeup ever. Like I've never experienced anything like this before, so this is so weird to me. I'm like, wow, bad batches actually happen. Like this is not a fake thing, like it actually happens. So I'm gonna go into the color Jax right here, which is this nice deeper red color. So I'm gonna put this right on the outer edge of my eye. So great pigment, looks good. Using a little bit of the whatever's left over on the brush to kind of blend that very lightly into the outer edge of my crease. Don't want to take it too far in. Now for my palette. Okay, you see how this side is like perfectly blended and it was so easy? And then this side, you see how it's like patchy and then there's like a chunk missing right here, like in this little area. And it's like jaggedy around. Do you guys see that? Like, I don't know. It's so great. I can't believe. I thought that I was gonna use it and be like, oh wait, they're both the same. I'm just a crazy person. Like, no big deal, whatever. But like, I really actually am seeing an inconsistency and like a difference. Like, and it's the weirdest thing because it's literally the issue. Let me try to blend this out, guys. Give me a second. The issue is that it's like the eyeshadows are so creamy. Like they're so creamy that it's like they stick together. It's like Play-Doh. Like when you try to spread out evenly, you know how you get like little pieces that stick together? Like that's what's happening. It's so bizarre. But it's not happening with my sister's palette. My sister's palette is working beautifully. It's working perfect. It's just my palette. And then when I start trying to blend everything together and blend it out, it just gets super muddy. So now let's be fun and let's go into this nice deep green color called Enchanted. I haven't tried this color yet, so let's see what's up. And I'm gonna use my Luxie 205 brush, cleaning it off. I just wanna make sure you guys know, like I'm not making this up, like I'm really cleaning off the brush every time, I promise. Okay, so I don't know if it's because of all the other colors that I used or what's going on. This is my sister's palette right now, but it doesn't look that green. It's kind of just coming off like, it was kind of blackish, like the green doesn't really stand out that much. I mean, I don't really care. I'm just trying to add a little bit of depth, so it's fine. But this isn't like a true, like green, you know. So I'm putting this close to my lash line. And then I'm kind of bringing it up. So let's try the green in my palette and let's see what happens. You see the harsh edge of the green and how there's like patches in between. So yeah, so this side, the green in my sister's palette definitely has, it's definitely a little bit harder to blend. It's definitely a little bit patchier. And I don't want to say it's normal because it's not normal, but it is common with darker shadows, especially when they're like greens or purples. It's very hard, I guess, to get the pigment into shadows like that. So they tend to be a little bit patchier, a little bit harder to work with. But my sister's is definitely better than the one in my palette. Okay, so I think that's as good as it's gonna get. If I keep blending this, it's just gonna get super muddy, like I can't. So let's do something fun for the lid color. I have used a couple of the shimmers from this palette, and I'll talk a little bit about the shimmers after we're done with this tutorial and like through the rest of the tutorial. But I've never used this one right here, which is called Diva. So let's put this all the way across the lid, this nice Diva color. I'm using this brush from BH Cosmetics, and I'm gonna use no water for this. I'm just gonna put this on by itself as is, and that is great pigment. Wow, that looks really pretty. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of fallout. Let me wipe that off. I'm gonna put another layer of this color right on top, but I'm gonna use a little bit of water to see what happens. So let's spritz this. And let's see. Okay, that definitely made it more metallic. It just intensified it. It did exactly what it's supposed to do. It made it more intense. It made it a little bit more foiled. It's not getting chunky at all. As I build it up, it went perfect. That was perfect. Okay, so let's clean this off, and then we're going into my palette. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but you see how this side looks so nice and smooth and just like pretty, and then this side you can already see all the chunkiness building up right here, and it's not like evenly distributing. Like I have to keep going in with more and more product to try to build it up because it's really patchy, and as I build it up it's just getting chunky. This is exactly what happened to me the first time I used my palette. I didn't use this color, I used another one of the shimmer colors. The color that I did use wasn't giving me the pigment that I wanted, so I put it all over my lid, and I didn't have the pigment that I wanted there, so I added some water to my brush and tried to put a second layer, and it got so chunky. Like it got so chunky. Like let's see if this side gets chunky, like what happened to me with the shimmer color that I used the first time I ever used this palette. So let's see. Oh, yep. Same situation that happened to me the first time I used this palette. Man, this is so disappointing. Okay, so now that that's done, let's move on to the lower lash line. I'm using my Morphe R41 brush, and I'm gonna go into the color Pukey that I used in my crease before. Really didn't have any issues with this side. I have noticed a lot of the times that I have used my palette, my lower lash line has never really been an issue. It's been more in the crease trying to blend out is where I've had issues. So on a more positive note, on the lower lash line, I do have two colors in this palette that I love. Like I have pulled this palette out, like I never use it, but when I do use it, it's only to use one of these two colors in my lower lash line. I'm gonna use both to show you guys like how they work. So the first one is this one right here. This one right here is called 24/7, this nice chocolatey brown glittery color. And I'm just gonna put this on the outer half of my eye. You guys know I love a nice glittery color, bronzy glittery color in the lower lash line. I just feel like it looks so nice and bronzed and effortless, and like, I don't know, I just like it. Okay, so again, cleaning off my brush. I feel like this whole video is just gonna be me cleaning my brush off. Okay, so I'm gonna go into this color right here, which is the color Meeks, which I also love in the lower lash line. Sometimes I use Meeks just by itself. All of my lower lash line looks so pretty and bronzy and effortless. And I'm gonna put this on the inner third of my eye, right in here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and highlight my inner corners and my brow bone, and I'm gonna be using the second color in the palette, which is called Beam. I'm using a Morphe M312. Put some right, okay. So pretty, such a pretty color. You see how like the light hits that? Oh, it looks so nice. This is a really nice brow bone / inner corner highlight. That I cannot complain about. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop on some lashes. I'm gonna pop on some lipstick, and then I'll be right back with my final thoughts, guys. Okay guys, so that is it. This is the finished look. For lashes, I used the Ardell Double Up Demi Wispies, which I've never used before, and I'm actually really liking them. They're really cute. I usually don't love the Ardell lashes just because I feel like they're very straight. I usually prefer the Kiss lashes, but I was like, oh, let's do the doubled ones, let me try them out, and I actually really like them. They're really up and they look good. I like them a lot. And then for lips, I used the ColourPop Ultra Satin Lip in the color Likely, and I put some of the ColourPop gloss in the color Contessa. This is from their collaboration with Carucci. I did a whole video on that collection, which I will link below if you guys want to check that out. It's a great collection. It's really good. Okay, so final thoughts on our little experiment. I do have to say that I think there is definitely inconsistencies with the palette. My palette is different than my sister's. It's not the biggest difference in the world. It's not like my palette's falling apart and it's terrible and it's impossible to use and it's the worst palette ever, and my sister's is amazing. It's not that big of a difference, but my sister's palette is definitely a lot easier to work with. It blended a lot easier. I got an overall nicer look on this eye, I think, than I did with this eye. Like I was saying, the colors are just so creamy in mine that even though it's nice to have really creamy colors, like you want them to be creamy and you want them to be pigmented, but I feel like there's a fine line. Like with my palette, I feel like, I don't know if it's that the shadows were pressed differently or I don't know what happened, but I feel like mine were creamier than my sister's, which made it hard to blend. It was almost as if the creaminess was forcing the pigment and the color to kind of stick to itself and not really budge or blend. Like once you put it and you tried to blend it, it would kind of just stay where you put it down, if that makes sense, and it wouldn't blend out because it was so creamy that it was like stuck to itself. I also found the shimmers in my palette to be chunkier than my sister's palette. You guys saw it when I applied this blue color all the way across the lid without any water. It was already chunky, and when I added the water, it just made it more chunky. And that was not the issue at all with my sister's palette. That color went on perfect and beautiful when I put it on. So I don't know if it's a batch situation. I can't tell you what batch mine is from and what batch my sister's is from because I don't have the boxes anymore. The boxes have been thrown away, so all I have left are the 2 palettes. I was so excited about this palette and I love the colors so much, and I thought it was such a beautiful palette. And as a makeup artist, I was like, this is awesome. Like I could literally take this one palette and maybe a couple others because I'm crazy, but maybe like a couple others and be good in my kit, like only need that for jobs. But I was just so disappointed with the way that they worked, and I actually tried to use them on one client and I started using my palette on a client and I was having the same issues I had on myself, so I immediately stopped using it, switched to other eyeshadows, and then everything was fine. But I've just been having a lot of issues with my palette, and I feel like this little experiment just goes to show that I'm not crazy, that these issues actually were happening. Like I said in this video, I've never gotten like a bad batch of anything or like a defective product when it comes to makeup. Like it's never happened to me. So this is weird. Like this is weird for me. This is the first time for me, you know? Like I said, my palette's not terrible. It's not impossible to use, but it's not enjoyable to use either. It's a little bit frustrating every time I use it. So that's, I think, why I don't navigate towards it or grab it, because every time I try to use my palette, I'm just left like, why am I still blending? Like, why is this patchy? Like, it leaves me like a little bit frustrated. From here, I know you probably can't see the huge difference between the 2 eyes, but when I was more up close, you could definitely see the difference. But yeah, so I guess I'll try to convince my sister to switch palettes with me or I'll order a new one. I don't really know what's going on, but like I said, there is definitely some inconsistencies. I would like to point out also, I always do my eye makeup before my face makeup, but today, in today's video, I just decided, whatever, I'm gonna do my face makeup first to have that done and over with, and then I could just focus on the eyes for this video. And both palettes did give me quite a bit of fallout. I'll zoom you in now so you can see it. You see all that? I tried to kind of dust it away, but a lot of it, again, because these colors are so creamy, they kind of just absorbed into my foundation and just became part of my makeup. But other than the inconsistency issue, I really do find that this palette is a beautiful color scheme. I think that she killed it with the colors. And if my palette would have been like my sister's, I feel like my opinion would have been completely different. I feel like I would have loved it right off the bat. But because of all this back and forth and the issue that I've had, it kind of left like a little taint on me and my opinion, to be 100% honest with you guys. If my sister gives me her palette, I'm sure that I'll use it all the time. But if I stay with mine, I probably will not use it very often. I follow Jaclyn for a long time. I really love her YouTube channel. She's super inspiring and I love all of her makeup looks. So when she brought this out, I was so excited to get it. And I know she's so nitpicky and she's always talking about how she wants everything to be perfect for her subscribers and for everybody that buys any of her products. She's like, everything has to be perfect in her eyes. And it's like, it sucks that I see somebody that wants to make things so perfect, and I love their channel and I like to support them, and in the name of being honest, I have to sit here and tell you guys honestly that my palette is not what some of the other palettes are. It's not as good as other palettes. In my palette, I will definitely continue to use these 2 colors in my lower lash line because I use them all the time. I do love those colors in the lower lash line. We'll see on the next restock, maybe I'll order another one. But then of course there's that fear, like what if I get another one that's not as good? So if you're having a similar issue as this, you're not crazy. Apparently it's real. There are inconsistencies with the palette. I still love my sister's palette. I still love the color scheme. I still love the formula of my sister's palette, and I still really like Jaclyn Hill's palette. This is nothing against Jaclyn Hill or Morphe or their hard work. You guys know I love Morphe too. I use Morphe products all the time. If you're having the same issue as me, that your palette just isn't as good as what other people are saying theirs are, please know you're not crazy. It's true. I just experienced it firsthand. I just watched it happen. Comment below and let me know what your issues with the palette are. If you got your palette and you loved it, congratulations. I wish I was you. I wish I had gotten a really good palette too. So comment below and let me know maybe what some of your favorite colors are, and I'll steal my sister's palette and I'll use those colors from her palette. If you guys want me to do another tutorial using this palette, I totally will. I'll just take my sister's, we'll do another tutorial. It's no big deal. Just comment below and let me know. Like I said, this palette's super beautiful. It makes me feel really creative because there's so many fun colors and so many different things you can do. So if you guys want a tutorial, I will totally do another one just using my sister's palette instead of mine. And I think that's it, guys. If you guys have any other videos that you would like to see, please comment below and let me know what they are. I kind of have a list on my phone of different things that I want to film, but I'm always looking to see what you guys want to see. So just comment below, let me know what video you guys would like to see, and I will definitely film it for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you're like me and you got a palette that is not living up to your expectation, I'm so sorry. We're on the same boat. I feel ya. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more of my videos, then just go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!